Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word and truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And Spirit hit me. I was thinking about this account in 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, which I just read this chapter before I started this video. But I was just thinking about, which I'm going to bring it out, but, there's more that be with us than those that's against us, because, we coming into a time where the men of the Lord are going to be demonized, are going to be hated of all men for the Lord's name's sake. Yahweh Shai said these things will happen. Ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Okay, he said that, we would be persecuted. The devil would cast some of us into prison, and this happened, back then, but it's going to happen again. Okay, and, people most likely will blame us for everything that's, going on, that's going to be going on. So people going to want us killed, man. And, with the carnal eye, it will look like we're outnumbered, because it's going to be more that's against us than those that will be for us. Okay, so it'll look like with a carnal eye that, we're outnumbered. All right, I remember my ex, she had a dream that she said wherever I went, she said people would point and say, there you go. And, they were trying to get me. I was constantly on the run. And she said there was a lot of money on my head. So, it's going to come a time where Esau is going to come with great wrath. And he's going to send, most likely his drones and his robots and all that shit. He's going to be targeting the men of the Lord. Okay. Scripture speaks about how he's going to make war with the remnant of the seed, roughly paraphrasing. So, we know Esau is about to crash out, but there's more that be with us than that's against us. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. This is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 8. I'm going to start here. It says, then the king of Syria warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, in such and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of the Most High, which is Elisha, sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the king of Israel sent to the place which the man of the Most High told him and warned him of, and saved himself there not once nor twice. So he was constantly being delivered, because the Most High was giving Elisha pretty much what the king of Syria was plotting, and Elisha was telling the king of Israel. Okay, so it says, therefore the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, and he called his servants and said unto them, will ye not shew me which of us is for the king of Israel? So he thought there was a traitor among his people. All right, it says, and one of his servants said, none, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speakest in thy bedchamber. And then it says, and he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. All right, so it says, therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host. And they came by night and compassed the city about. So they came deep. Okay, a great host, meaning a great army. Okay, lots of horses and chariots and military men. And, they had on armor, they had weapons. Pretty much, they came deep, man. It says, and when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and going forth, behold, and hosts compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? He was afraid, like, man, what are we gonna do? Because it looked like death was inevitable. Like, oh man, they got us outnumbered. They on these chariots. They got weapons. They about to kill us. And this is what Elisha said, and he answered, "Fear not," which proves that he was afraid. It says, "For they that be with us are more than they that be with them." And Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see." And the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So the chariots, they're always around, but we're not able to see them. But the Lord can easily open our eyes to see them. We're used to in this time, we're used to seeing them as like, lights. They look like, white lights, orbs. We're used to seeing them like that because the Lord, he's waiting to the end to fully reveal them. And Esau has pushed out this narrative that these green-headed aliens from Mars, on these spaceships, which the top elite know that it's the angels of the Lord. Okay, because just like man has chariots, which today the chariots would be a car or like a truck. That's the modern day chariot. But the Most High has his chariots, and his chariots, are what we would call UFOs, spaceships. Okay, heavenly vehicles that they can go, to and fro from dimensions. They can come to this dimension. They can go to the spiritual realm. They can go into outer space. They can move outside of the laws of physics. Okay. So, going back to this point, Elisha said, there's more that be with us than be with them. So it was a great army that came, yet there was more that was with Elisha and, his, pretty much, his company. All right, the angels were watching over them. So this applies in today's time. All right, there's more that be with us than that's against us, because the angels are all around us, man. Okay, constantly protecting us, making sure that we make it, Lord's will, we're of the elect, make it to the return of the Lord to be delivered. Okay, so let me grab this in Psalms. And this ain't going to be a long video. All right, this is Psalms 34:7. It says, "The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them." So just like during that time, the Lord had angels around them protecting them. And when you finish that account, it's a beautiful account. Okay, and the Lord was, answering Elisha. Okay, and the Lord is going to be coming through for the prophets today. Okay, brothers, hey, it's going to get to a point, man. Brothers going to speak the name of the Lord and things going to happen. Things going to manifest, man. That's the time that we fastly approaching, because the Lord is going to greatly show his power, man. All right. He's going to greatly magnify his name through his servants, the prophets. So, we don't have to fear Esau. We don't have to fear what he's going to come with, which, of course, we're in this flesh. But the Lord is going to lift up a standard in this time as well. All right. That's why when you go to, let me pull this out, Isaiah 59:19, it says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west," and we're in the west. Okay. And we fear the Lord, man. It says, "And his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." So Esau is going to come down with great wrath, Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. But the Lord is going to lift up a standard, man. See, we're looked at in the eyes of Esau like, they know the what we're speaking is the truth. I'm speaking about the elites. They know the power in what we're speaking, but they look at us like, oh, I can kill them. I can And he's gonna make his move eventually, man. He's gonna come like, you know, he's gonna come with the great wrath. He's gonna come like a flood, man. Just like the king of Syria did. But this time, the Lord is gonna lift up that standard, man. Okay, and when you look up standard, it means to flee, escape, to take flight, to fly to the attack, to drive it, to put to flight. So the Lord is just like he did with Samson. The Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. Hey, some of us, the Lord is going to do that, man. You know, or he could, you know, teleport you out of there. You know, the Lord, he's going to be with his men, man. And we're going to be put in positions to where our faith is going to be tested and it's going to be amplified. It's going to look like, you know, there's no way out of this. How do I get out of this? And the Lord is going to put it in us to believe so much that we're gonna do things. It's gonna be like, wow, did I really just do that? The water Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, we're fastly approaching those times, man. I strongly believe it, man. I don't care if it sounds crazy or if it look crazy, man. It's all in the scriptures, spiritual power. And Yahweh Shai said, the works that I do, ye shall do greater. Scriptures say there wouldn't be enough books to contain all the works that he did. So if we're going to do greater works than he did, the Lord is going to show his power, man. Okay, so the Lord is going to lift up that standard when Esau comes in. All right, so we don't have to fear this devil. Okay, and the scriptures also say in Psalms 91 that he will deliver thee from the fowler. The fowler is Esau, man. You know, strength coming from heaven. I'm gonna end it with this. First Maccabees, the 3rd chapter. Like I said, a quick video. This First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 19. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Beth Horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day? Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few, and with the Most High, with the power of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. You know? So, you know, it's not about numbers. Because the Lord used Samson, he used one man, Samson, to kill 1,000 Philistines, man, with a jawbone of an ass. You know, that's the power that we're talking about. Okay? So, you know, numbers don't mean anything. And like I was saying, you know, with the carnal eye, it'll seem like we're outnumbered, but you know, there's more that be with us than those that be against us, because the angels, the Lord himself, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, is with his servants, the prophets. So I just want to do this quick video. Lord willing, it was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.